With over 400 advising centers around the world, Education USA is the U.S. Department of State's official source for finding the right U.S. college or university for your studies. American universities and U.S. communities value international students, and they are sending a strong message of welcome through the You Are Welcome Here campaign.
Graduate students will need to make a lot of decisions as they are thinking about going to school in the U.S. There are basic 5 steps of applying to schools in the U.S. at the graduate level. As we start out the whole process, you need to ask yourself a lot of questions. Why graduate school? Why now? And where would the funding be coming from? So graduate students will need to answer those questions as they're thinking about applying to schools in the U.S. Finding the right school for yourself at the graduate level, you can go to websites like petersons.com. That can help you. For those of us who use the Education USA resources, the Petersons books are available in our office where you can actually sit down in the library and do extensive research on schools in the U.S. in your particular field of study. Completing your application, applying to schools in the US is actually the hurdle, and I call it a hurdle because there are a lot of requirements that you will need to meet. You will need to apply online.
Many schools will require some kind of standardized test, so it could be a GRE, it could be a GMAT. Depending on the school you're applying to, tests will be required in different ways. Some schools will require that you demonstrate English language in the form of a TOEFL, an IELTS, or a PTE perhaps.
You will need to get recommendation letters from your professors here in Nigeria. At least 2 or 3 professors will have to write and talk about your strength. Very important. Recommendation letters are one of the most important part of your application process when you apply to schools in the US. You will need a statement of purpose for the school. Some schools will call it a research interest purpose or a statement of purpose.
Every university wants to know who you are, your personal story, what you've accomplished in life, the challenges that you face, and what your career goals are. Along with your essay, if you have any extracurricular activities to show or your research that you've done, projects that you've conducted, please make sure that you also give us all that information.
And also, you also need to get a resume. Nigerians will call it CV.
And then depending on the other schools that you're applying to, if you're applying to an art school, they may require a portfolio. Business schools often require an interview. Those things will all vary from school to school. So we recommend that you spend time looking at your school program website to make sure you're figuring out all the different requirements and submitting them accordingly.
So just make sure that you're aware of the deadline. Some universities have early action, some universities have early decision, and some universities have rolling admission. But it's always better to apply before or as soon as possible because your funding opportunities might be higher.
So we typically encourage students to apply early. So if they're looking for funding, it's possible for them to get funding in the departments they are applying to. When your application is complete, the school is going to let you know if you've been admitted and if you've been admitted with any type of funding. There are different sources of funding in the US. We have the teaching assistantship, we have the research assistantship, we have the graduate assistantship, and we also have the fellowship. The GAs are typically administrative work that students can do on campus, and typically it can waive tuition and fees for them. We do have the teaching assistantship. That means graduate students will teach on campus, and that can help waive tuition and fees for them. And we do have the research assistantship. Research assistantship is where the graduate students would have the opportunity to work with a professor in the lab or on a research project, and that can help waive tuition and fees for them. And it also depends. Some schools you can waive all tuition and fees. Some school is partial tuition and fees that can be waived. So it depends on the school that you're applying to. You need to know what the GA position comes with, or what the TA position comes with, or what the RA position comes with. There's more funding available for academic programs than for professional programs. So for example, maybe you want to go study, you want to go fly a plane in the US. You might most likely be paying to do that. But if you're going for a master's or a PhD program, there's a possibility or chance of you getting funding for that type of program. There's more funding available in the sciences than in social sciences and humanities. I typically tell people in the STEM majors, science, technology, engineering, and math would tend to have more funding opportunities than those in the social sciences or in the humanities.
When you are done applying, you just keep checking your application status And when a decision is made on your application, you'll be notified by email.
And if you've been admitted with funding, your admission letter is going to come with a funding letter at the same time. But if not, you will need to show financial documentations to the graduate school that you're able to finance your graduate admission, your graduate school program for the next 2 years. So it takes you showing a bank statement for the school to decide if you qualify to come on campus. The I-20 will be sent to you once that is cleared out. Is with the I-20 you will use to go through the fourth stage, which is applying for the visa. Applying for the visa, you will need an I-20. You also need a bank statement to be able to convince a consular officer that you qualify to go to the US and come back home and be part of the Nigerian development.
So now currently I have been able to write my statement of purpose. I would say it wasn't an easy compilation because I had to write the different SOPs for different schools. My GRE made me to drop some schools because some schools needed a higher score while my GRE wasn't encouraging. So I had to write the second time and combine the two scores. But I am very hopeful this year that I will get some good responses from schools. So by next year, I hope I will be in the US.
Whoever you are and wherever you're from, come join the more than 1 million international students currently studying in all 50 US states. I encourage you to visit an Education USA advising center near you today. You can find us at educationusa.state.gov to learn more.